Hello and welcome to AIM Qualifications and Assessment Group. In this video we'll show you how to complete an application to request approval for the late learner or unit registration after the permitted deadline. The form itself can be found on our website at www.aimgroup.org.uk/qualifications/centres/policies and procedures. It's important to remember that along with the completed form, providers must send to the AVA copies of their registration and certification policy and procedures document and any other relevant supporting evidence for the Access to HE team to review. The form itself is straightforward to complete and begins with details such as identifying the provider, followed by the diploma title, the learner name, the class run ID, and the learner's start and end dates. The next text box is critical. Here providers should fully explain the reasons why the learner and/or units were not registered by the required deadlines. It's vital that as much detail as possible is given so that a fair, accurate and balanced judgment can be made by the AVA. For example, please don't simply write administration error, but provide a full explanation such as how the administration error occurred. For instance, you may say that the RAC was not reviewed after registration to check for accuracy. The action might be that instead of one person checking, more than one person is involved to increase the chances of spotting errors. The next section is often overlooked and one of the main reasons why request forms are returned. Here providers must indicate whether or not learners have already submitted applications to UCAS. If they have, when those applications were submitted must be provided. This information is needed by QAA and the AVA is required to collect and monitor this data. Next, providers must list all the graded and ungraded units to be registered. Remember, there must be 45 credits of graded units and 15 credits of ungraded units. In each case, whether graded or not, the following details must be supplied: the unit title, the unit level, the unit credit value, and finally the unit code. It's critically important that these are completed diligently and checked for accuracy, so as not to delay the selection of units. Forms will be returned if there are errors with the codes, so that the AVA can be sure that the correct units are being registered against the learner. After this section, the provider's Access to HE coordinator must be identified and an email provided and the date the form was completed. The final section of the form is the very important action plan and must be completed. If the action plan is missing or requires more detail, the form will be returned to be updated. If UCAS applications have been submitted prior to the submission of this form, then providers must identify at least how the provider will ensure moving forward that learners and units are registered before UCAS applications are submitted. The action plan must contain SMART actions identifying what the provider needs to do to avoid making a similar application going forward, including the action, how this will be addressed, by when, and who is responsible to ensure these actions are addressed. Once you've fully completed the form, send it together with all the required documents to the AVA via the access2he@aimgroup.org.uk email. And that's it! If you require any further information, please contact us at access2he@aimgroup.org.uk.